Nyang! Amisa! Check one, who do I ramping? Look pon the swagger. You think I'm Mick Jagger? Yay!
long time overdue link up.
This is a
drink up.
This is a link up and a drink up. Dominick.
Tuggawar.
My family.
Respect.
Legendary business today.
I love how you're running your team.
Thank
Politics
you,
as usual.
Thank you. Politics as usual.
Shaking the feet.
Yeah. They're not swinging the foot.
They're not swinging feet. So it's a Rishi for swing a foot.
Yo, Rishi for swinging foot, man.
Swing his wallet, swing his money. Get something out of his wife's pocket.
Yeah.
So
yo, it's a pleasure to be here today, man, with you, Dominick, man. Before we go any further, this show is officially sponsored by Mama War. Mama War, I love you loads. She's baked so look at this. Look at that. Have a look at that. It tastes one of them, though. It's for you, mate. It's called, they're dates and almonds. So it's dates and almonds, ground almond cookies. Mama War, a crisp biscuit. Love you loads. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mama War.
Thank you. I'm going to get tucked into that in a minute. I've got my cup of tea. We've got the drink. We've got the herbs. We're ready today, you know. And it's legendary today, Carl. You know, it's a long time I've been meaning to sit down with you, you know, Dominick, and have a good reasoning. We ain't linked up for years. When's the last time I ever see you? Like,
I think we really hooked up was at Gappy Rank's show at the Tudor Rose.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
We got across paths a little bit.
Yeah.
Got a mutual friend with Skinny Man.
Yeah. Big up Skinny, of course.
1000%.
Got a lot of mutual friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And then when I saw your interview explaining about the time you've done in Jamaica, it made me realise a lot more about Tuggawar and the work that you actually put in Jamaica, and I had to respect that.
No, I respect.
So we're going to go right to the crux of the issue, which is very much in the media at the moment. Cultural appropriation. Now, people would look at people like you and myself, and I'd say, are these people mimicking black music, black culture? You know, and you look at Vanilla Ice, you look at Snow, you look at Eminem, or even Third Base, you know, of MC Surge, and they'll say, are these people mimicking black culture, or are they paying homage to it, using a little piece of their own influences in culture to enhance a culture that they love? You know? So what's your viewpoint on that?
Well, people know we don't mimic
the
culture. I'd like to think people know us well enough. They know us, you know, as how much love we got for the culture and how much time we've been around the culture and showed love to the culture. I think that's the only way any culture, because my opinion of it is this: you have to respect every culture.
Absolutely.
Every culture should be respected. You know?
And you've got to put something in. I mean, I was always doing my interviews and journalist work before I even started DJing. And henceforth, I find it easy to go back to that.
How is it with yourself? Do you find it has been, you get judged for that over your time?
When I initially busted out, it was pretty much about the novelty factor, and I had to work hard to record lyrics that were more conscious, political, and I thought, well, here I am in a position, I've got to utilise that to expose racism,
of course,
the Thatcher regime, the prejudice against Jamaica, what happened to Joy Gardner, the way she was killed by immigration authorities. I felt that that was what I had to do. And now in this stage of my life, I feel that it's important that I interview the young artists, not just yourself, but the people back in Jamaica, to kind of use my position to enhance the music that I love.
Yeah, definitely.
As far as cultural appropriation goes, I think we're all guilty in many ways, because if you look at like popular music, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Elvis, they took all of that from Robert Johnson, the Mississippi Delta. So,
what do you mean by guilty though? Like?
Well, guilty, maybe guilt is not the wrong word to use, but when the Rolling Stones made their first LP, every track on that was a cover version that was originally recorded for Chess Records in Chicago by
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, Muddy Waters. The Beatles, the same thing. Right. The Yardbirds. Elvis was copying the old hillbilly sounds. No, hillbilly was like a white version of the blues in a sense, but it was all taking something that came from black culture and more bending it all towards a more mainstream thing, which in a way is what like UB40 and the Police done.
Right.
And so I would like to feel that we actually kept it more real.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah,
did it in the heartland of where it come from still. So there is a little, I mean, we all take something from someone in some way or another, in a way of influence. I mean, there's a classic saying that, talent borrows, genius steals. And then there's some cases of people that are just blatantly taking the piss.
Exactly. Yes. You got that as well. Yeah. I think that's really sad. That really upsets me when I see that. Because, I mean, I know you're similar to myself, and the respect you have to show, like, we wouldn't, even coming into business, you have to have, I mean, when I came into business, you have to have a genuine love for the culture and for the business to even do it and to get accepted in it the way I got accepted in it. I grew up around it. People know I grew up around the culture. I grew up around.
So where did
music.
you grew up in Hackney?
Yeah.
And so around the era that myself, Admiral, Josie Well, Metro and Tiger were doing her thing, you must have been like just leaving school sort of in and around Hackney area.
Yeah.
And you were
in
around,
the 90s.
And you were near to like Sandringham Road, around that Jamaican community.
That's right.
So it's almost similar to like me growing up around All Saints Road, Ladbroke Grove, and you were
similar.
in
that. Yeah.
How did you actually decide that you wanted to DJ and spit on the mic?
I just grew up around it, Dominic. Like, I fell in love with reggae music from, I first remember, like, just from being around. There used to be a pub. I'll give you an example. I lived next door to a Jamaican pub.
What was it called?
It was called the Earl of Warwick.
Where was that now?
In Victorian Grove.
Okay.
Yes, all I heard from I'm 6 years old, all I've heard is reggae music. That's all I've heard, so going to school, growing up, that's all the music. That's like a high percentage of the music that I was around. Just picked up on it. My favourite DJs were from Saxon, so I grew up listening to Smiley.
Yeah.
Papa Levi was one of my favourite MCs ever. Papa Levi, Tipper Irie, all the Saxon MCs. Flinty Badman, Navigator. These guys were my heroes growing up.
Okay.
I'd be listening to all the sound tapes, and I was really like Sound System. Unity was our local sound. At the time, you know what I mean? They had Flinty, Demon Rockers, Navigator.
But they all become like the jungle DJs.
Yeah. See, that's interesting because like they were I used to listen to them before jungle. So I listened to them when they was dancehall, reggae.
Yeah.
And then when they turned into jungle, I was disappointed because I wanted them to stay.
Well, I remember them when Youth Men Promotion clashed with Unity in '86.
I remember that clash.
They killed them. They flattened them. To be honest with you, they really did.
I heard that too.
And it was the same Navigator.
I heard the tape.
It was the same Navigator and all of that lot.
Yeah.
Demon Rockers or whatever. And they killed it. And then I go Jamaica, I do my thing, I come back, it's like the mid-90s. And I buck up the Ragga Twins. And they're like, yeah, Dom, don't you remember us? Unity. I was like, okay. Now, I kind of understand why they did what they did, because you're almost stuck in a mould in British reggae, unless you're fortunate like Tipper or Smiley Culture and that. I mean, look at Papa Levi. Papa Levi is probably one of the best MCs to ever come out of the country.
Now, you know what happened, Dom? Dancehall it kind of disintegrated in England. There was no more money in it to be made for these artists. Even like early 90s.
Yeah.
It started going into like jungle music. You understand what I'm saying? So like the crowds that used to rave to the dancehall raves and go to like Four Aces and all of these clubs, trends back, they stopped. These events weren't as popular as they was.
Do you think the violence contributed to that? The arrival of gun crime at events? Or do you think that's been over-exaggerated?
I think that's over-exaggerated because that's in every genre and every kind of event.
People fail to remember that like they pinpoint reggae music as a music of like, where violence can occur at events. But they seem to forget about the football match that happens every Saturday all across the country and the amount of violence that happens there.
Exactly.
And let's get this into context.
Yeah, very true. Very true. But like, when we was young, I mean, coming up, when I was young, chatting the mic and doing, like, reggae was like, reggae was like the foundation, and it turned into jungle. So I started MCing on jungle, but I was so in love with the reggae style.
Did you feel comfortable?
No, not on jungle, because I wanted to do reggae and dancehall.
I done a track with Shy FX.
I come out the scene. I could have been big in the jungle scene if I wanted to.
Yeah, I stepped back.
Yeah,
I done a tune for Sour
yeah.
with Shy FX and UK Apache. We done some shows and that.
Yeah.
And then I saw the backlash
me,
that General Levy got. With all respect.
I remember that. I was around.
And I just
remember
thought, in a way, they got a point. You know, these guys have been doing this from a grassroots level. Suddenly, everyone wants a jungle drum and bass remix.
No,
you know?
but I don't think General Levy deserved that.
Not at all. I think he was. No. I think they made a scapegoat of him.
Yes, he was wrong, because like he was a pioneer for the music. That song is like one of the, if not the biggest jungle song
absolutely
ever. It's a piece of history.
And he said something in an interview that was taken out of
looking
context.
back on it, I think they was hating on him at the time.
Well, you know what happens when you have success. They come out of the woodwork.
Remember, he was on top of the pops. He had the video on the television. I remember going to school and it was like the hottest thing in the country. You remember? And the pirate radio stations and the MCs and certain DJs, I sensed a bit of hate from them at the time. It was jealousy.
Yeah, because I done a track with him for Dub Vendor. Before that came out. And he done a track called Original Length and Strength, and I done Glad She Resigned, and that done well. We done a tune off the back of that. Tell us about your first recordings.
Bruh, Tid. So my first recordings was when I come out of Spanish Town prison, I was locked up with Sean Paul's father.
Okay, yeah.
Garth Enriquez. So he was good friends with Roy Francis. So you know Roy. I see you take a
Roy,
picture with Roy. I know you know Roy.
I
know Roy. We got Roy Francis.
Roy, Daddy.
Roy is I'll never forget Roy, because Roy is responsible for a lot of my career as well, because Sean Paul's father reached out to Roy to arrange with the immigration to keep me in the country to do music. So Roy was part of getting the immigration to allow me to stay in the country, because they were going to deport me from being in prison. You get me? So Sean Paul's father was like, yeah, I want you to stay in the country to do music. So Roy Francis arranged with the immigration and we worked out, and I found someone to receive me.
Okay.
And I stayed in Jamaica to work on the music. So Roy was the Mixing Lab was my introduction to the music business.
Oh, respect.
In Jamaica. So Mixing Lab was my first musical home.
Okay.
That's where I first started hanging around. That's where I first went and met like most of the artists. It was my first little, you know, it was the only studio I knew there. You got Stone Love on the other road.
Dumbarton Avenue.
Yeah, Dumbarton Avenue. You get me?
And you got Rebel T down the road there,
So my first day in like 2 weeks out of Spanish Town prison, I remember taking a mini cab from Spanish Town to Dumbarton Avenue. It was the first time ever going there. And you know, the security at the gate, you know, they wouldn't let you in the gate.
Yeah.
And I remember arguing with the guy for like, because I must have been like, not many white guys turn up at the gate to record, and it was like, who are you? And I'm like, come to record. Kind of session. He said, no, you ain't. And I was there, I was arguing with the guy for like half an hour before he let me in the building. And I saw Roy Francis. Where's Roy Francis? I didn't even know what Roy looked like at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Roy had a rhythm called the Macca rhythm. Okay. Which Sly and Robbie built for him. And then I went in there and I recorded. Chester was the engineer. And that was my first recording. I actually watched Chakademus and Pliers record before me. So I was in the studio watching Chakademus and Pliers voicing. And I'm just sitting, I'm in awe, because like these are like heroes. Yeah. And I'm in the studio. I'm on next. My session's next. And I'm in the studio, and it's like, it was kind of...
Well, you're almost like having to pinch yourself, like...
Yeah, it was like
I had that back in the day.
Because Mixing Lab's a big studio, isn't it? So it was the first time me going into a big studio like that in Jamaica. Yeah. You know, it was intimidating. You know what I mean? So it was like, at the engineer there, I saw Chakademus and Pliers voicing. And myself, like, as soon as I watched them recording, after watching them record, I was like, rah, I've got to go in there now and record. They changed the tape over. They put the new rhythm on. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they said, yeah, you want time to record that. And I went in there. And then Mixing Lab became my home. I started recording. I recorded like so many songs in Mixing Lab. Started getting familiar with different producers.
So did you record these for yourself or for separate producers?
No, different producers. I never recorded for myself in Jamaica. I recorded for loads of producers.
And how many of those tunes came out?
A lot of them. A lot of them came out. Yeah, quite a few of them. Like my first official release was the Roy Francis one. Okay. Which is funny because my first song got played on Irie FM a week after I voiced it. Mm-hmm. It's straight in the business. So I imagine it was mad. Like it was surreal to me because I was driving around 2 weeks out of prison, just voiced the song, and then I'm hearing it on IRFM.
It's unreal, isn't it?
It was like I was there with my dad's friend in the car, and we're driving around Kingston, and the song. I felt like I made it. Yeah, I felt like I made it. I've actually come out of prison. I recorded the song, and it's getting played on the radio. Like the buzz was amazing. It was fucking amazing.
Within 24 hours the other day when I went back to Jamaica, a long hiatus. I'm in my 50s, and I'm hearing on the radio, "The return of Dominick." I'm like, what? And it sort of can be overwhelming and all that, but I have the deepest love for Jamaica and Jamaican people for giving me that platform.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Me too, man. Me too.
1000%.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for Jamaican people and how welcoming they are to artists like ourselves,
how would your life have turned out?
I don't know how my life would have turned out. I was going down a whole different road. If music wasn't going to save me, I don't think anything was going to save me, because I was going in a whole... My life was going down. I was on the street, hustling, doing a lot of dangerous stuff. I was in the middle of smuggling, like a whole load of stuff that was probably going to take my life in a whole different direction. So music came along and really, like...
gave you a focus.
Yeah, you see, for me to even... When I was in Spanish Town prison and I said, I'm going to do music. I was a musician. Obviously.
That was your moment of clarity?
Yes.
I had my moment of clarity in Feltham Youth Custody Centre.
Mm-hmm.
I knew George Pang, Half Pint. I'd already been in Jamaica. I'd done the show with Beanie Man when he was 10 years old. Got arrested, set up by the police. That's another story. And I'm in jail and this cassette of Saxon is being played. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And that was like, and obviously hearing your story, when you were in Spanish Town, you had that same feeling. When did you actually record the track called The Surf? Because that was the one that really kind of got you some attention, particularly in England with Channel U.
Yeah, it's crazy because I recorded so many songs in Jamaica, but none of them was hits. I didn't find a hit song in Jamaica. I recorded a lot. I was early recording. I was a young recording artist. I was in my, I call it my apprenticeship. That's how I look at my Jamaican recording thing, because I was a young recording artist. So I recorded some good records, but I don't even believe now that I was ready to record the hit songs then.
So do you feel now you're at your...
Oh no, I was ready a few years after. I was ready, like Surf got done after. So Surf was done when I come back to England. So I didn't record Surf till 2000.
Who did you do that for?
England. I've done that for myself.
Okay, and the rhythm track is taken
from a guy called Jigsy.
It's the Safaris though, isn't it? It's an old
60s it's
song.
sampled off as a 60s song, but the guy in Jamaica, his name was Jigsy, I think, I forgot his name now, and I licensed the rhythm for him. So I actually bought the someone gave me the instrumental, and they brought the instrumental back from Jamaica, and the instrumental was given, it was for me, because someone said, give this instrumental to Tuggawar to record on it. I never realised, you know what, when I heard it, because I did Surf by chance, by luck, because doing a dance song wasn't my typical style of music. I was doing more gangster stuff. And that kind of style. But dancing was hype at the time, so Elephant Man just started the dancing stuff.
Oh, Pon the River,
Pon the Bank. Row the boat, signal the plane, everything. You know what I mean? Dancing was going crazy. So I'd be raving, and I had a lot of dancing crews around me. So I'd have the dancing crews. I was.
Did you ever go to Samantha's in the West End?
Of course, I went to Samantha's. Plenty of times. I've been going to Samantha's since 16 years old. I remember I had my 16th birthday. Ended up in Samantha's. I mean, Samantha's old school.
I used to go there from 1984, man. I used to go and listen to all the old.
That's classic club, lovely club, lovely fucking club. So anyway, with that now. I was around the dancing crews in the clubs, and every time I got in the club, I said, Tugs, when are you going to do a dancing song? But I didn't really, I was like, it's not my style, man. I was like, trying to throb it off. And then when I got this instrumental, I was like, fucking hell, this sounds like a... And then the guy who gave me the instrumental, he says, do a song called The Surf. The man said to me, do a dance song called The Surf. The DJ gave it to me.
Big time.
And I said, all right. And they said, how's the dance go? So I'm not a dancer. I said, how's the dance going? He said, you stretch out your hands, you bend your knee, you bend your back, and you surf. So I just wrote that down, like them 3 points. I just like, all right, bend your knee, bend your back, stretch out your hands, surf. And then I said, everybody do this.
You should have had the Black Roses crew to build a dance for you.
It's funny because Bogle, R.I.P. Bogle, because like obviously I was around.
Gerald Levy, brethren that man.
I was around Havana's my place. So big up all junglists.
Yeah.
Havana and Black Roses crew as well. So
Angola, Pegasus, Zimbabwe, Mexico, the whole of jungle.
Yeah, real talk. The whole of jungle, love. For real,
the whole
man.
of Jamaica.
The whole of Jamaica, man. Yeah. Jungle are a place there, you get me? So when they started Jiggy Fridays, which was Bogle's event, I used to go around there. So Bogle actually was doing a dance for one of my songs in Jamaica at the time.
Okay.
So like, I was close to the Black Roses family. Them. I used to rave there like a couple times a week. Jiggy Fridays would be every Friday.
Yeah.
We'd go down there every Friday and... You know, because Havana's just around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Walking distance from Black Roses. So we just walk from Havana,
go
to Black Roses and party for the whole night. So like, so it was all one extended family.
Yeah.
With the Havana family and the Black Roses.
So which part of Havana were you hanging out? Were you more like where Ika Mouse was? Or were you near like to where I used to live? They must have showed you the house I used to live.
They did. Yes,
right,
they did.
Huggy Pathway, that was.
Because like, I was around Metro a lot. I'm sure Metro told you.
Yeah, he did.
And his brother Squiggly Ranks.
1000%.
Yeah.
Snaggapus.
Yeah, so like when I was out there, it's crazy because when I was out there, your name would come up so much, obviously. Because like I think I'm the first guy since you
that actually went into the hood. And
Bookie.
Can't leave out Bookie.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I met Bookie once out there. I'm not that familiar with his music and his work, but I met him once out there, and he's a lovely guy.
Bookie is a great entertainer, but he needs a strong song right now.
Right.
You know, and he's really, I mean, he just tore up the Beanie Man show the other day in Panama.
Right.
Respect for that.
Yeah.
And he was recording material when I was down there last
I met him because he was booked on one of the stings I did. I did Sting 2002 and 2003. I think he was on the 2000 and... Yeah, there he is. Look. Yeah. Bookie Rex.
Tell me about the Sting.
See him there?
Which part?
See him there? Underneath Nothing Stars. Next to side of Ninja Man. Bookie.
Yeah.
And see me above this.
Okay.
That's at the 2000. That's the Sting with Cartel Tom Ninja.
Okay, tell me about that now. What happened there? Because to me that was a defining moment where dancehall culture got ugly, to tell the truth. We'd all cuss each other, tell each other things, but physical violence, no.
I think that was a bad day for dancehall.
Yeah.
It was a bad day for dancehall. You know, like I was it was crazy because it was such a great day for me. It was like my second Sting.
Yeah.
I felt I done well on my first Sting.
Yeah.
And I did even better on this Sting. So I was extra buzzing, and Lexus was booked for the first Sting.
Yeah.
So, but on this Sting, Lexus wasn't booked for that one, and he came with his wife to actually watch my performance. So we all came. So he came. We all came together. We all went to the event together.
Yeah.
And then and then after my performance, I'm in the I mash up the whole place, as you see on the clip and everything. And then after that, we're in the VIP area at the front watching the rest of the show. So we're actually looking forward to the rest of the show. And then when Ninja and Cartel had their little thing, the bottles start flying all over the place. And a couple of my friends even got, because the bottles are firing from the back.
Oh,
so people are throwing bottles,
It's like the carnival, mate.
Yeah. And you know what? They ain't hitting the stage, so they're hitting people in the crowd.
Just ordinary, like, innocent bystanders.
Yeah. So like, and they're like full Guinness bottles that haven't even been opened, and they're throwing it. Really, exactly. And I see them raining on people. We was underneath the stage for like 45 minutes. They destroyed the whole crowd. Like, it was like a stampede. It got very dangerous. Like the following day, I heard a pregnant woman got trampled and lost her ute. You know what I mean? Sad things happening in that situation.
Not good.
It was disgraceful. It was disgraceful what happened. And like, we've seen the best of the best go head to head, like Ninja Man versus Super Cat. You know what I mean? We've seen like the hardest guys go toe for toe. We've never seen it get physical.
Yeah. Super Cat and Ninja go toe to toe, but I went to visit Ninja in Jamaica, in Horizon.
Yeah, you said to me.
And he said Super Cat, apart from myself, was one of the few artists that come to visit him. So it's no deep-rooted animosity.
Never, no.
It's an entertainment thing. Me and Charlie Chaplin had a clash. Next day, I'm on the plane going to Miami with Charlie Chaplin. He's like, yeah, cool, that's just how it goes.
Of course it is.
You know what I mean? So,
do you know what made me upset? Like, while you're on that topic a little bit. You see what happened with Merciless, R.I.P. Merciless.
Oh,
Leonard.
God bless him, yeah.
I'm a brethren that, like, he showed me a lot of love when I was in Jamaica. He took me to a lot of stage shows. And it really made me upset when I saw how Killer talked about him after he passed. Because I'm like, this is music. My point is this, like what you just said is like, this is all music. There's no animosity between the people in real life. No one died, no one got hurt. I don't see how you can have so much like jealousy or hate for someone over music, if that makes sense. You know, like you see when it's not serious, Dominic. You see when like it's just music, where everyone is competitive. It's just like playing football. It's competitive nature. You see, like when people pass on like Merciless, and then people are still in their feelings. I can't get my head around. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, bro. That will make me step back from a lot of people in the scene, because like,
I don't know how you can carry that animosity.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't go around.
I'm not really gonna point fingers at anyone. Like, obviously, I have to sit down myself and reason with people. But I'll give you an example in a completely different culture.
I think that's sad, bro.
In the UK football hooligan culture, the two main rivals, West Ham and Millwall. One of the top guys from West Ham, whose name is Bill Gardner, rest his soul, and one of the top boys from Millwall, whose name was Tiny, is in hospital dying of cancer. Bill Gardner and him spoke on the phone, and he turned around and said, I want you to know that you are my enemy, but I'm really, really sorry for what you're going through. And the other guy turned around and cried when he heard that, because he realised no matter how much they were warring on the terraces, they still had some sort of mutual respect for each other.
Listen,
and we have to maintain
like,
that.
you know what I think it is? I think it says a lot about the person. Because, and you know what? And I don't want to see no one with influence over people thinking like this, because it carries on, if you understand what I'm saying, you know? That's why I mentioned Bounty Killer saying that, because he's a very respected artist, legend in the business. And when they talk like that, it can have influence on how other people feel as well. And I don't think that's a good example to set. I mean, like, you know, like, you see like in music beef, it's all entertainment, bro. But you understand what I'm saying? So like if
but it's not. Look at New York with the Woos and the Chews and the Blixies and Pop Smoke.
Yeah, but see that. Yeah, but that's where it gets out of hand. That's why it's not for. You see when, there's two sides of it, bro. See, it does get serious, and that ain't music no more, is it?
Well, that's where it's lost.
Right. But my point is that Merciless thing and Bounty Killer's thing was never serious, was it?
No one was.
So why the animosity? No. Listen, do you know what beef I understand?
What?
You know what beef I understand? Ja Rule 50 Cent. I understand that beef. You know why? Because the people them that was back in Ja Rule is the people them that put the hit on 50 Cent to get him shot 9 times. That beef can never die. Man took 9 shots over that beef. He's never gonna forgive him. I understand that. But you see, from it ain't that, then what the fuck are you having beef for? Yeah. Like, he's got a reason not to, like, never squash it with them. Someone tried to shoot me 9 times, I ain't squashing it. You understand what I'm saying? But like, if it's like you done 9 disc records, it's different. Like this, that's what I'm saying. So the only people I see with that kind of animosity against each other is someone like 50 Cent and maybe Ja Rule, because Ja Rule's people then tried to got him hit up, right? And that's not music no more. You try to take a man's life, right? Before Merciless and Bounty Killer thing was never ever. If they party together, they're like friends. Before he died, it's a friendly beef. It's like Beanie Man, and it's almost like the Beanie Man Bounty beef. It's similar. It's just entertainment. It's dancehall. Yeah, right. So how can someone feel like that over that? I can't understand it.
It must be something a lot more deep.
That's what I'm saying. I can't understand it, because I can understand it if it gets deeper than music. Yeah. And like I use the example with 50 Cent and that, or Pop Smoke or Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P. These people that got in tragic over stuff that wasn't music.
Well,
you know what I mean? So why are we going to make something seem like it's that when it's not? That's bad for the culture. That's bad for the fucking music.
I totally agree with you.
That's bad for the music, because it should be Oh, we went back and forth. Like, do you see Jay-Z and Nas like arguing like that? Like, they're the same age.
All right, Nas turned around and he said when Jay-Z had a pop at him and sort of attacked him lyrically, he said it was the greatest compliment ever. That's the smart man.
Of course.
Now, prior to the 50 Cent Ja Rule beef in hip-hop, we had the Juice Cruise war with like Marley Marl, KRS-One and Red Alert.
Yeah.
And a lot of people felt that Scott LaRock, who was working with KRS, who helped him and the DJ, got killed as a result of that. Right. But that was not the case. And it's only coming out now what the real reason behind that beef was. You know, D-Nice was having an argument with his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend who was threatening him, but that wasn't even what it was about.
No.
And so to see that Merciless and the Bounty Killer thing is being exaggerated to something different.
I was disgusted about it. You know what?
That has to be stopped.
I was so disgusted about it, number one, because I know Merciless personally.
Yeah.
And he's a cool guy. Like, he's one of the most coolest guys. Like, he was so humble.
But Bounty Killer's a cool guy still.
I'm not saying he ain't. Like, I'm not saying he ain't. He's like, but like, they're both cool guys, but they ain't cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why are two cool guys doing that then? And you're such a big representator for the music. It's sad. It's sad. Even if you feel like that, if you keep that in your house. Because they ain't good saying that shit. They ain't good.
Well, they say if you ain't got something good to say about something, keep your ass mouth shut.
Especially when someone just passed away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't play them game there. I give you an example. The other day, the Queen died. And I done a video shoot at Buckingham Palace 2 weeks before she died.
Okay.
Right? And I went up to the fence and I did, you see me, I did like, Lizzie!
Yeah.
Yeah? I come from my cucumber sandwiches, them, and my Earl Grey tea, and I made a little viral moment, a little clip. Like, as I do, I keep up my fuckery sometimes as I do, right?
Yeah.
Outside the palace, and the clip went super viral when she died. And it looked like I did it when she died.
What, like you were mocking her?
Well, it looked like I went up there and did it, It looked like I went up and, almost. Because people are posting, imagine the Queen dead, and now they're posting this clip is going viral now of me at the gates of the palace. So a lot of people that saw that clip actually might think, Tuggy went up there and mugged it. No, I don't play them game there. With nobody, with dead people. You understand me? I said, me not play them game there.
Yeah.
And people will knock, you go up on YouTube, you will see the upload date from the music video I shot. It's 2 weeks before she passed away.
But you see this
You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, no matter who it is.
The viral thing's gone mad though, hasn't it? I mean, look at what happened at the dance I was at with Luciano. What name? Wappy Demas.
I see you on stage with them. Yeah, with the man.
What was that about? That got more publicity than the lyrics.
Negativity, man.
So what are the plans for the future, Tubbs?
Bro.
You got an album coming out? You got some new tunes?
Man, yeah. You know what? I dropped like, how many albums I released this year? I drop a good few albums a year.
Is it?
Yeah. If I look, let me tell you. I've got to look on Spotify to actually remind myself of my release. Like, literally, I release a video every week. We got Frostbite Films, my brother. You know what I mean? And I've do everything now for my own label. I try to own all the masters. I've
got a great admiration the way you control your business. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
I mean, I look back and think, Dom, you should have done that in the 80s. But so it goes.
But you know what, Dom? I'm like, on that note as well, you're a good guy to have that conversation with, because like, we learned from, you come in the business when records were selling, like, cause you were selling records, bro. You know what I mean? My first album with Jetstar came out when records stopped selling, and it was CDs. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it was a whole. So I watched this game transition from records, because my first songs did come out on record.
Yeah.
And I used to press up records myself, like when I first come out. But then the transition from the records to the CDs to the MP3s, and I had a good deal with Jetstar, a 5-album deal, and then they closed down.
I just want to cut you for 1 minute.
Yeah.
We've got a mutual friend passed in tragic circumstances. I want to big up my brethren from Hot to Death.
Mad Lee. You know Mad Lee? Pop Buckler. R.I.P. Mad Lee. Where you know Mad Lee from?
No know enough people, man.
Well, I could tell you some stories about me. I'm the one, you know, when he come to Jamaica, I'm the one that took him round the studios, and you know, I took him everywhere. I made is he Hot to Death Jamaica?
Yeah.
I'm responsible for that almost. Tucker Kiddie would tell you. We got Tucker. Because Tucker was actually managing me.
When are you going back to Jamaica next?
ASAP, man. ASAP. I've been talking to a lot of promoters over there. I nearly had a show sorted out there. And then
I'm gonna hit Rebel Salute.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Tony at the moment.
I don't wanna do I've done Sting twice. I'm not too keen on rushing to do another Sting out in Jamaica, but like a Rebel Salute, or I want to do a Sunfest, to be honest with you. Sunfest is my next major event I would like to do. But other than that, I would like to do my own concert, Tuggawar concert, because I've got such
That's what I really want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done the boom boxes and the dancehall Thursdays and let
General B's thing, innit? Boombox. We got General, man. We got General B.
And Mackerel. We got the Major.
We got the whole
and
of them,
Metro,
man.
Josie.
Yes.
O'Neill Famous, Music
We got Mr. Lex, my brother, anyway, you there? I see you buck up in Alex around there as well.
Every time. Every time.
Yeah.
So we want to take it to a next level like that, where if someone wanted to see Dominick at the Royal Albert Hall or even Tuggawar, likewise,
it'd be nice.
We've got a nice, solid set with a band working.
Like, you asked me something, like, when you said, like, we should do a show together, and then, like, I've always thought that would be a great idea as well for us to do a show. But I like what I was saying to you, is how we present it, because it's weird. Like, I don't like the fact that we try to, I don't want to use, like, you see, like what we was talking about in the beginning, like, I don't want to even use the fact that we're trying to sell a show because we're too white.
Well, that's like washing powder, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
That's what I'm saying to you.
Daz or something.
Like, yeah, you see, like, you see, we got fan base already. So, like, the fans them know what we're about. You understand what I'm saying? That's like, you see, even certain conversations, there's only certain man I even rate in this thing. Like, in dancehall.
Who are your heroes?
My heroes in dancehall.
In as MCs.
As MCs.
Across from hip hop, dancehall.
Papa San.
Yeah.
General Trees.
Yeah.
Supercat.
Yeah.
Ninja Man. Biggie Smalls.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan. Even Redman, Method Man. Going into the hip hop side of things, but dancehall, Papa Levi was like one of my favorite MCs growing up. And the reason why Papa Levi, because being a British born MC, when I heard the Saxon guys do it with the English style, because like, I'm not from Jamaica, I'm half Greek, half Irish.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of who I am and where I'm from, and I've never tried.
It's quite ironic or interesting that a lot of the Caucasian people involved in reggae music, myself, Snow, others, all come from an Irish background.
I didn't know that. See, you just told me that you're from Cork as well. That's where my mum's from. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I think Irish people we've got a special relationship with Jamaicans in general, haven't we? Ireland.
There's a very strong connection.
Yeah, and there's something spiritual there as well. I'm telling you, there's something very spiritual about Jamaicans and Irish. Yeah, there's something very spiritual there. We get on very well.
Have you ever thought about doing any Irish music, like rebel songs or anything like that? Doing your own take on them?
I don't know much. I don't know, because I've never really grown up around Irish music or nothing like that. I'm so No, like what I said, like, you asked me what did I grow up around. I grew up around dancehall, hardcore, reggae, dancehall. Not just dancehall, because like growing up in Hackney is one of the most multicultural areas in the world. So I was very lucky to get the best of everything, in sense of we remember, no disrespect to no other area, but jungle was invented in Nightingale Estate in Hackney. Jungle music started in Hackney. Facts.
So who would you say were the actual key people to start the drum and bass jungle thing?
There was
that place they had, what was it called again? It was near where the...
Remember, Rush FM is the foundation of jungle music as well. Rush FM is from the Tower Blocks.
Hype?
Huh? DJ Hype, of course. That Hype's foundation as well. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Hype. Ray Keith.
Yeah, Ray Keith.
So many names. If I don't say them, like big up like Eastman, Cool FM.
But I mean, even from back in my time, we had Phoebe's, Bronx Night Spot, Four Aces. You know, there was, you know, even if I weren't, you know, when I first started MCing, like 84, I'd do little lyrics at these sort of places, you know what I mean? And it was...
Did you ever get involved in hip-hop too much? Did you ever do much hip-hop?
Oh, very much. I mean, about 1987, 88, when I went to New York,
I see you done a lot of time. You know, I've never been to America.
Really?
I've never been to America. No,
Well,
that's a spot that big up, because, you know, it's crazy because I've got such a fan base out in America as well. So, like, got a massive
You've got
fan
to
base.
utilise that.
Yeah.
I got involved in hip-hop through KRS-One. And
I see you're big fans of KRS, yeah.
And I'd done that. I met KRS-One at the Apollo. And I introduced myself. And obviously, he wanted to meet me because...
He seems a very welcoming guy.
Yeah, but he also used a little piece of my lyric for a track on his.
Did he?
And I used that as an inroad to do shows.
That's a compliment, huh?
Yeah, it is very much. And I use that...
PRS? Yeah.
We're on that right now. So I use that as an inroad to work at the Apollo on Christmas Day with him. And I think that was quite a good opportunity. And then I've done several other shows with him. We recorded tracks. Looked like we were going to get a deal. He started doing other stuff like Shabba. He had other people he was producing. And I got in some problems entering back into America. They found out about my criminal record and they wouldn't let me back into
That's what my problem was, because, you know, I was booked for Connecticut Sting.
Okay.
So after the first thing, 2002, Leng was managing me.
Okay.
So Leng put me on the Connecticut Sting. He was doing the Sting in Connecticut.
Okay.
And my pictures on the fly, everything. And then because I overstayed in Jamaica, remember I went prison for the smuggling, and then come out and I overstayed. So I stayed in Jamaica 2 years without going back to England. So immigration's actually chasing me. At this point, immigration's looking for me.
In Jamaica?
Yeah. I'm telling you,
have you got anyone to give you like the heads up?
Yeah, I was turning up at places and people saying, Tug, they were just here looking for you.
Jog on,
yeah, jogging. So I was towards my last few months. If I didn't go, they was gonna find me, you know. So I had to go and come back, and I was alright.
You do know that, don't you?
Like immigration find them out there.
What's their name? Aki and Salt, 2 Japanese guys.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, they were out there working, no work permit, overstay.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to process you, or you leave and you don't come back. And so, you know, obviously that's why I sort of come back, because, you know, I didn't have that sort of documentation sorted out.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do Sting, if I'm going to do Rebel Salute, it's got to be lined up proper.
I can't believe you know Mad Lee.
Yeah, man. No, lots of...
Fuck, you know, that's got to be a whole different podcast.
So,
yeah.
Okay, now we're going to hit a real subject. The Reggae Grammy going to a Caucasian American band. What's your take on that?
What, the recent one? Oh, that's a load of bullshit. That's a load of bullshit.
But the album doesn't sound bad.
Listen, who the fuck are they? No disrespect to them, the album could sound great, but who are they? Like, you know what I can't take with that kind of thing?
It seems like I'm
the wrong man to ask for that. Yeah. Because like, I can't take the shortcut thing, because all now I'm not seeing a shortcut, and years I've been in this business, you know, because we do it the real hard way. You get what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, you got to do it that way.
Yo, bro. Yeah. So you see, when I see this, I'm like, who's got the money and who knows the people? Because that's what it all boils down to. You know what I mean? Like, no disrespect, but they're not... an unknown reggae act is not worthy of an award. And that's the bottom line. I don't care how good the album is. They're unknown to the reggae fans around the world.
But what if
What's the name of them? What's the name of them?
Hold up, let's take this away from reggae music. Okay. Just put it in context of any genre.
Right.
So are you saying that someone who's completely unheard of or unknown cannot receive a Grammy Award if they come with a work of absolute genius?
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, they come with a work of genius, then anybody in the world can come out of the blue and be that guy or be that girl or whoever.
So these guys from the States, how do you... I mean, I don't think it's a work of genius.
In my years of being in reggae music, dancehall music, and being around the genre, any song or any project album, like, I'll give you an example, SZA's album, The Real Thing.
Yeah.
Right? Classic album, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant album. Like, we heard that album around the world. That album must have been album of the year that year, I have no doubt. It must have been. I'm sure the album won awards because that album was an amazing album.
Yeah.
And we all knew about it. And that's just an example. Then with maybe a Jack Hill album I could mention, or maybe this album I could mention. The albums that we knew that was buzzing in the streets, even if it was a new artist.
Exodus, Bob.
Even I give you an example. Let's go back to Sis, the first album, Black Woman and Child.
Yeah.
Classic album.
Yeah.
You have to have a hot product on the road. It has to say something in the streets in reggae music. How did I hear of Dominick? Your song hit in the streets, bro. But how they gonna? So how else we would have known Boy George, the song Boy George?
Yeah.
It hit in the streets. But now you name me any reggae or dancehall song that has got somewhere without doing that. So the no disrespect to that band that won the award, and no disrespect to that album. I'm sure the album's good. You said it's good, right? Okay, so it's a good album, right? But it hasn't hit the streets, and I haven't seen the impact from the reggae.
So it hasn't gone through the route, and they haven't done the graft.
Thank you. But not even that the graft. Maybe they've done the graft in the sense of making the music, but where's the feedback?
Yeah, but it's not just making the music.
Where's the feedback? Where's Futa Hype playing the song in the dance? Where's Mataron playing the song in the club, saying this is the best reggae song out? Where's the IRFM DJs playing it every day? Where's the New York DJs playing it every day? Where's they playing the songs?
Which Jamaican artists?
So how can the album come out of the blue? Yeah, you understand where I'm coming from? How can a reggae album come out of the blue that ain't got no airplay? No one's heard of the band. No one's heard this album. Ain't got no promo. No, I ain't seen a music video. Like nothing, and he's gonna win a what? A Grammy? How? And like, no one's a bigger reggae fan than me and yourself.
Yeah.
Like, aside from being artists.
Oh yeah, of course.
The reason why I'm an artist because I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? To do it, right? Now, I love this for years. So I can't love this genre so much and then a song comes out and I've never heard of it. No, there's something wrong. I would have missed something. I know everything was going on in the streets.
Yeah,
I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah,
so how the hell?
I'll keep myself well
right. So I'm not taking no credit away from the people the album it is. But if I didn't hear about it in the streets before this thing got an award, then how?
Yeah,
that's what I'm asking. And even if it hit the internet and it done well, then where's the music video? Where's the feedback? Where's the reggae fans? Because we know the reggae fans of the world. They're our fans, right?
We're going to come to a subject that I want to talk to you about.
Go ahead.
I have a theory.
Yes.
That in 1990,
right,
when artists were talking tales from the street, crime-affiliated stories of drug dealing or gangsters or gun violence,
right,
it was always done from being the non-participant observant, like how Nas, Supercat, or any of them would talk lyrics about Kingston Hot or whatever, or Nas's tracks or whatever.
Hold
up. But in 1990,
right,
it became, the stories were told in the first person,
right,
Ninja Man, and in hip hop, NWA.
Right.
Do you feel that has had a psychological impact on how the music has developed now, and to how people see the music, and why people are saying that this music is causing violence both in Jamaica and with the gangs in United Kingdom?
No, I don't see that at all.
I'm not saying that's how it is, but I'm saying, can you see that people would pinpoint that because it's being narrated in the first person? I am the man with the gun. I am the man trapping on the street, rather than say, I see this man over the street, crackheads drive, whatever. And so when you put it in the first person, you become the participant. You become the participant. You got to keep it real and do what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't you think that has had some sort of effect?
The reason why I say no is because effect on what though? Let me answer the question properly. Effect on
how future generations of MCs build their lyrics.
Yeah,
effect on how young impressionable minds would digest and absorb that lyrical content, as opposed to if it was relayed as an observant rather than a participant in the first person.
Well, obviously, we, like me, myself, my influences, I told you my influences, I said Papa Sam, Biggie Smalls, all them. So I learned from these MCs. So obviously the new MCs are going to learn from what they're hearing, right? And so in sense of that, yeah, it's gonna have an effect on what the people them are writing in their lyrics. But like what you said again, it's just the world's changed. The world changes all the time. The world has changed. So the world's changed from what it was when NWA was doing it, and you mentioned the people before NWA, and then so like every 10 years, every 5 years, almost every year, the world's constantly changing.
Yeah.
So the music, the content, to me, it naturally changes it with it. I don't see it as a direct.
Oh, nothing's going to stand still, but exactly. I just feel like I have an analogy, or that because of Cartel being where he is right now, is a consequence or a result of that mindset where I'm not saying he's good, bad or indifferent as a person. I don't really know him, but I think it's very tragic that someone of that talent is going to spend almost the rest of their life in prison. And it gets to the point of like, listen. I mean, look at what's the guy in the States right now? He's looking at the bloody death penalty. Melly.
Who?
YNW Melly.
Right.
It's like these guys are really talented.
What about R. Kelly?
R. Kelly's a pussy.
Right. So let me stop you. We cannot be biased.
Yeah.
The crime is the crime. R. Kelly's crime is a pussy crime. I agree. He's a pussy, 100%. But he did the crime. He did the time. Like, you gotta separate the person from the artist. In these situations, I'm not a believer.
I'm going to come with something.
I'm not a believer
I'm going to hold that thought there, right?
Because he's
separate the person,
yeah,
and their fucked up, scummy behaviour from their art.
Yeah.
Okay, so we look at someone like Pablo Picasso, who's a brilliant artist, but he treated women like shit. Or we look at someone in the context of when, in the recent Joker film, they used Gary Glitter's song. When he's coming down the stairs and dancing, and it sounds brilliant. And I'm listening and I'm like, hold up, Dom, you shouldn't be appreciating this. Back to the mindset, separate the art from the person. The Glitter Band, 2 drummers, were wicked. What Gary Glitter is a despicable human being, if you can even call him that.
Right.
So let's elaborate on that, separating the person from the art
absolutely.
Within the context of Ninja or Cartel. I mean, Ninja's a different kettle of eggs altogether, mate. But Cartel
is a friend of mine, and I was sad to see him end up in the scenario he's in. At the end of the day, I think it was I hate to see people with talent get into silly situations when there's a better way of life. Like, see, when you're talking about the biggest earning dancehall artist in the world, has no doings of getting involved in crime and petty crime money, to me, in my world. I worked my whole life and career, to get out of crime. You feel me? So I can't relate to that.
Well, that's...
Because like, you're talking to someone, I come from Spanish Town prison, and I did everything, and I continue to do everything to not go back to prison.
Right.
Or put me in a situation, or be around a situation
so look at that's
going to make me do that, or put me in that situation.
Exactly. So look at the early years of hip-hop, and I can name numerous rappers that were rude boys, that were trapping, and they left that and got into music so they didn't have to do that again. People like Cool G Rap.
That's the whole point.
And people like, in the dance world, Josie Wells and Supercat, who've turned their back on that life.
Yeah. But that's the whole point.
Exactly.
You see, like, I don't... Call me crazy or old school, but like that, what the fuck is the point? Like, to me, that, like, bro,
know your job description.
Yeah, bro, like what you said, music was my moment of clarity. It changed my life.
Me too.
What am I gonna do? Play with it and go back to the life that was gonna put me in a grave or a prison? What, am I stupid? I've got a chance now to go and change my life.
But there's a new generation that are doing that. Tupac never had a criminal record until he had records out.
Well, you see, that's the problem. You see, that's the thing here, where I get a little bit frustrated about.
Tell me about it.
Even down to Cartel, yeah? I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah, go on.
Like, you see, when you get involved in music, it's better you just sing about what you was around and what you are in real life. You see, it's very important to find out who you are as a person.
Yeah? You got to know yourself.
You got to know yourself. Because I met Cartel in Jamaica, as you know.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm around him before he got to the big icon he became.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And like, he didn't have a reason, to me, to go and live that life and become a don in the area.
So you know that he comes from a very educated family.
Thank you. See, you said it before me. I don't want to say things to like, I pick my words wisely because I respect the guy and he's a friend of mine. And I'm not the sort of person to talk badly.
I respect him a lot.
On person, but if you want my honest opinion, like he wasn't really from that life of crime. He's come from a very, right. So he's a guy, he's from the streets, poverty, yes. Come from poverty, I would say yes.
Well, he originally came from Waterhouse and his family moved over to Portmore.
Right, exactly. But he's not from a life of crime.
Okay.
But but from poverty, yes. So you come from poverty and you make it in music, what the fuck are you doing get involved in crime? From a very royal educated person, that's a very dumb move. You know? That's how I look at it. So you see like, free world boss. Yeah, I would love to see him come on road again. Right. But you see, if you've actually got
But can you see how that happens? Yeah. Cartel names his hero as Tupac. So he looks at Tupac as an inspiration.
Is that his hero? I didn't know that.
I've got to be like that. So he's got everything. And Tupac said to me, and I know Tupac from when he was in Digital Underground, at the New Music Cinema, he said, Dom,
you mean Tupac, bro?
Yeah, I know Tupac, yeah. Right. Tupac is proper real. But Tupac was brought up by his mum. Yeah. Very talented, Shakespeare, poetry, best lyrics ever.
Went to acting school when he's
all
young.
of that.
Yes.
Could do everything. But he said growing up, he wanted to feel tough. And he carried that into the music. When he was with Digital, he was dancing and all that.
Yeah.
And then he done the role Bishop in Juice. And people say that he became that role, you know? And it's a tragedy because that man should really...
You know, it's like, you know what, I think it's, that's why I'm saying, like, you see the ego.
Like, you got to keep that in check.
You have to keep it in check. Because the ego you carry in the booth, if you're not really that guy on the road, then keep it in check.
Oh, you do have to keep that in check.
You know, you got to keep it in check. And not only that, like, in general, because the artist can be a very loud ego, so you got to know... I'm a believer of I don't think the ego should be turned on all the time.
Oh, you got to turn it off.
Yeah, mate.
I mean, like,
I don't want to turn the ego off.
People in Jamaica,
because that's the downfall of a lot of artists.
It almost happens like
likewise. You feel me? That's the downfall of a lot of artists. At the end of the day, fuck artists. We're all human beings.
Well, you can believe the hype.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't look at, like, I respect artists, because I'm an artist myself, of course, and I love artists, but it's, you know what I respect human beings. We're all human beings. And you have to have that mutual respect for each other.
I'll tell you one thing you've got to remember, right? With all the fame and the adulation, you got to keep your ego in check.
Yes.
And you've got to remember, with the fame and the hype, it's not real.
Thank you.
There's a lot more important
So don't get carried away with it.
That's right.
Don't get carried away with it. Like,
and the people that last in this are the people that keep that in check.
So when you go and make thank you, big up Josie Rose.
1000%.